Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team. And this week on Paige's blog, we are focusing on her new cut files that are available in the Silhouette store. And every week she adds, I think, about 10 new ones, and they are all so fun, so pretty, so many possibilities. And so I had a hard time picking which one I wanted to play with first, but I finally settled on this one, and it is called Flower Clusters. And it's a bunch of little different size and shaped flowers and leaves. And what I did before I started filming was I took a sheet of white cardstock and cut basically an entire sheet of the flowers and some leaves in white. And then I went through all of the pattern papers in the Turn the Page collection and picked mostly ones that were solid or close to solid and cut 3 by 3 squares and ran it right back through my Cameo and cut out some colored flowers. And I actually wind up doing this a second time to create even more because I basically wanted a color explosion of flowers on my layout here. So I pulled out some white cardstock and I'm just going to start to play around. I think I'm going to use this picture. Yeah, this is how our family photos go. Do you see this? My youngest child decides her legs are broken. My other child is clutching her crayons and she's crying. My eyes are closed and my husband's staring off into outer space going, where am I? What am I doing here? So yeah, that's basically how our family photos go, but that's okay. I embrace that because that's how we are. But anyway, I printed it in color because I think it's going to look really pretty with all of these bright colors, and we all have on blue shirts of some sort or aqua color. And so it's going to go nicely with the colors. So all I'm doing here is playing around. I want all these colorful flowers, but then I want a lot of the white flowers mixed in too, just for added texture and, you know, just to break up some of the color and to add more in there. Now, off camera, this is basically the next day, I decided that this was the design I liked. And once I got it all on there, I thought, I want to jazz up my background, but I don't want to move all these flowers because if I move these flowers, I will never get them back. So this is kind of going to take me a long time, but I go through and I'm going to glue all of these flowers together so I can move this whole thing as one big piece. And I actually got it done. It took me about 20 minutes, but now I can just move everything and it's not going to fall apart and I don't have to worry about all those flowers going missing. And I have a perfect little spot to tuck my picture in right there. And I actually thought I was going to do a diagonal design from the bottom right to the upper left, but then I just sort of played around with it a while and decided I liked kind of the vertical shape. It's almost like the shape of an Easter egg or an oval, but I like how it looks. It's basically what I wanted, a color explosion of all these blooms, and yeah, it worked out great. So what I'm doing now is something I do pretty much on every layout I have ever made in the last several years, and that's use the packaging technique with some shimmers. And I pulled out several colors that match the flowers and the papers. I've got a pink color, a corally red color, actually a couple shades of pink, and then an orangey yellow color. And I'm just kind of messily adding the color down here, and a lot of this is going to be covered up, but you're going to be able to see it through the open spots of the flowers and then around the edges of the whole thing. And that's kind of how I like most of my projects to look. I like to create a messy background and then you just see it sort of in a subtle way behind everything. So I made sure all that was dry. Now I'm going in with some aqua. And you can see how that looks like a hot mess right there, but once you add the flowers back on top of it, it looks totally different because, you know, a lot of it does get covered up, but it just changes the whole landscape of the layout when you start to add everything back on top of it. And actually, I think that looks kind of pretty though. But yeah, I'm going to add this on top of it, and you can see how it's going to show a little bit through everything and then around the edges. This is just so fun for me. I love making backgrounds like this, and I think that looks really pretty. It just adds lots of extra color, and then before I glue everything down, I'm going to come in with some thread. I just picked out several colors, again, that match. And of course, be careful because yeah, your thread will get caught on things, and then you'll jerk everything around like I just did there. So I had to be careful because I had so many of those little flower petals sticking up all over the place that my thread kept getting caught on it. And I just slung the whole thing over, and then everything was, you know, making a mess. So I had to be a little bit more careful than usual because of the nature of these flowers, because they're not all completely flat. I wanted them to be, you know, dimensional, and so they're just basically lightly glued together, but I don't want them all completely flat. So I've got 2 different shades of pink, actually 3 different shades of pink, yellow and aqua there, and this just adds some extra texture, some more color, and I think that looks good. It's, you know, it's a very subtle thing here because those flowers are very busy, and so I don't want to do a lot of embellishing because it's already busy enough. It already looks like this giant bouquet of flowers with this cute picture poking out of it. So yeah, I want to complement that and not make it even busier. So what I'm going to do is start to glue this down. I've already got my thread in there, and I know I need it to stick so I don't jerk it around anymore. And I did add some tissue paper behind my picture there just for a subtle little layer. I didn't want to do any more layering with paper or anything because I felt like the contrast was already good enough between the picture and the background. But I did add some foam to raise it up a little bit. And now I'm going to start to work on embellishing, and I love the sticker book. They're, the clear stickers are awesome, but since my background is so busy and colorful, if I was just to stick this picture or this sticker right on top of it, it would sort of blend in and you wouldn't even be able to see it. So I'm going to stick it onto some vellum and then cut it out, and that makes it perfect. And I know that it's shiny and bright here because of my lights, but you can definitely see it a lot better. And I'm going to do the same thing with these smaller stickers that say Better Together. I'm just going to fussy cut those out. And I'm going to put those down toward the bottom right. And then I'm going to go through, and in the sticker book on the clear stickers, there's a couple of little loose flowers and clusters. So I'm going to use those as well as some of the cardstock stickers and just tuck those in here and there. They make the perfect little tiny embellishment. And I want to make sure that I've got, you know, everything is in the same color scheme that I've already used. And I'm going to go with the washi tape book for the rest of my title, and I'm going to cut this wonderful out. And again, the washi tape is pretty thin, so I'm going to also stick this onto some vellum and then cut that out. And then my title is going to be Wonderful Family. And I just, you know, when you're able to make a title out of things that are already in a kit or a collection, you might as well take advantage of it. And so I love how that looks. It's the perfect colors. I love how it stretches across horizontally, even though everything else is vertical. And now I'm just going to sort of play around. I'm going to use one chipboard sticker, and that's another little floral sticker there, and it just sort of stands out from the background because it's different. And I'm going to stick Wonderful right on top of that. And I don't think the washi tape would have looked good stuck straight up onto that background because it's so bumpy and so textured. I think the vellum really helps it stay nice and smooth. And then I'm going to glue down Better Together. And then start to add a couple lines for my journaling. I think I'm getting close to being finished. I really, really love this cut file. There's so many things you could do with it. You could shrink the flowers, you could enlarge them. I just made a whole bunch of them and layered them together and just made this flower explosion, and I love how it turned out. I think it's busy, but it's so colorful and it's just a lot of fun. I had a great time putting this together. Last thing I'm going to do is stamp the date and then add in, of course, some more spots of gold, which is the Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine, since there are little pops of gold. And that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. Paige's cut files are gorgeous, as are her collections, so make sure you check out the Silhouette store. Just type in her name and all of her cut files will come up. I believe this week and next week the design team is focusing on the cut files, and she even has 4 other girls on a separate design team just for the cut files. So there's lots of inspiration going on. So let me know if you have any questions at all about anything that I did, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.